So now we've got drones. Drones can be really useful for transitions where you want to just have a pad playing in the background, but you don't want to have to play it, or just to add another layer on top. They're great at creating a bit of atmosphere. Sometimes when a pad might be too much and you just need that single note in the background. Because our drone is going to be in every single patch, we could put that at the global concert level, which is what I did in my first MainStage file I created. The nice thing about that is you've only got one of them and it's just going to always be there ready to use. And as you change between songs, it's not going to just suddenly cut out because you haven't included it in a patch. The downside, however, is that you can't save parameters with each patch to change anything going along. So as I'll show in a second, in the scripter plugin I've created, you can set the key for the drone on the controller, but you can't save that with the patch if it's at a global level. So what you can do instead is use aliases. So I'll show you how to create a drone as an alias. The reason for using an alias and not just copying and pasting it between every patch is partly because there's no point duplicating plugins across every patch if you know they're only ever going to be used one at a time. But also, for example, if you want your drone to just keep playing when you change patch, then that wouldn't work if it's a separate instance of it on each patch. So first I'm going to create a set just to put all of my aliases in so that I can kind of hide that away when I'm not working on it, and a patch. So I'm going to create a channel strip for it. So I've set up my name, changed the color to match my controller and the on-screen text, and I've set it to go to the keys to output. Next up is to set the layer range. So now you'll see why I set up all of the other layers to finish at this key. The drone now lives in this top octave. So I've created a scripter plugin, I'll show you in a second, that will watch for notes. And if you tap a note in this top octave, it will trigger that sample to start playing. It's just a sample instrument that just has 12 notes in it, all set to this range of the keyboard. As you press a note, it turns it on. Press it again, it turns it off. And it will only play one at a time. So that's all done using the scripter plugin. Another way to do this is to use long samples in playbacks, like MainStage playback plugins. One of the problems with that is you're going to need a channel strip for every note. So using a sampler that I created in EXS24, which isn't particularly difficult to do, has meant that I can just have that in one plugin on one channel. So now let's map the parameters that I've got for the drone. So I've set all of these up. So there's now an active one. There is one issue with MainStage, which is using scripter plugins to turn on and off buttons doesn't always turn it on and off on the controller, but it is turned on and off. I have this knob where I can set the key. So for example, if I'm playing on a smaller keyboard and I don't have this top octave to play, then I can use that to set the note and then I can hit active. Or if it's already playing, I can change the note and just hit this re-trigger button to change the note. Then we want to have this drone in our default patch. So the way to do that is to copy the channel strip, Command C, and then do edit paste as alias. So you'll see there's a little green arrow at the top of the channel strip, and that tells us that it's an alias and it's linked to something else. Once this is in our patch, we just want to double check that the mappings are all still there and working, because sometimes they get messed up. And that is the drone setup.